Hey guys, so I know it's been a really long time since I've made a video, and the reason is because I haven't had a computer to edit said videos in a very long time. I just got it back yesterday, so I'm like really happy to have it back. But yeah, I have a really interesting video for you guys today, at least I think it's interesting. It's been about 10 years since I've lived in the state of Texas. I have learned a lot since living in Texas, and a lot of things that I did not otherwise know before living in Texas, and thus brings me to the 8 things I did not know before living in the state of Texas. Let's go. Number 1, literally everyone here is obsessed with Whataburger and pronounces it weird. People pronounce it Waterburger. Now, I'm originally from Chicago. My family, literally my entire family is from Chicago. So, and I have a weird mix of an accent because I lived in Chicago most of my childhood. I've lived in Texas for the last 10 years, obviously, and sorry to fly. And I lived on the East Coast for a year. So I'm like, I have a weird like mixture of accents, but literally anyone who has a, like even a very like an ounce of like Texan in them says Waterburger. I don't know why. That's just how people say it here. Whataburger, if you do not know, is a burger chain. And I used to hate it because the Whataburger that was closest to my house when I was in high school sucked. I did not know how big Texas really was. So I have a couple facts for you. So it's 268,597 square miles and has a population of 27.86 million. So the significance of this being, it's huge. For example, I live in Fort Worth. I go to school and I work downtown Dallas. It takes me 40 minutes to get from point A to point B. People think they're so close together because of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, the, you know, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. People think it's like Minneapolis-St. Paul where they're like right next to each other, if you're familiar with that metro area. They're not. Houston has been having, if you have been living under a rock, Houston really just got hit by Hurricane Harvey, and I've been getting a lot of questions from like family members and stuff being like, are you guys okay? And I'm like, we're 400 miles from Houston. Yeah, 400 miles from Houston, and yeah, we're fine up here. I hope you are too if you live in the Houston or Corpus Christi or Galveston area. Heart goes out to you. Number 3, people are not always more polite here. The South in general kind of has the stereotype of being like everybody's like super polite and nice here. Well, that is mostly the case. I have noticed, and maybe this is just like my little bubble, but I have noticed that people are generally more polite in the Midwest. I don't know. I think people are more real in the Midwest, whereas down here it's more acceptable to be a little more like fake nice. I have had a lot of people are, I guess, less open here is what I'm trying to say. It's not necessarily like fake nice, it's just people are a little more genuine, I think, elsewhere. Whereas like when the way I grew up, and maybe this is just my family, let me know if you guys kind of disagree with me on these, but the way that people are in the Midwest, people have like, most people I know have like an open door policy where literally anyone can pop over for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or dinner or whatever. Here, people don't do that, and people are less likely to like just make random plans. Like, you know, people feel like they have to schedule everything here. And I've also noticed it's harder to like make lifelong friends with people here, and maybe it's me, maybe it's because I'm a really awkward person, but I've had a really hard time in the last few years especially. People are less likely to open up, and I've noticed that with people that are from Texas than whereas, you know, on the East Coast or in the Midwest. That's just my experience. Maybe it's different elsewhere. But 4, people don't realize that not everybody in Texas is born and bred Texan. In 2015, Texas added 500,000 new people from outside of Texas. There's a ton of transplants, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. There's a lot of like businesses, a lot of office buildings, there's a ton of hospitals here, so there's a lot of like job opportunities. So I guess that's why, but yeah, not everybody is Texas born and bred. Number 5, Texas pride is almost as big as the state itself. And this is evidenced by one of my mom's best friends has a joke that every time she comes to visit, she counts the Texas flags between the airport and my parents' house. It's a picture that is like floats around every so often about like the map of the United States according to Texas, which is hilarious to me. There's Texas-shaped waffles in hotels. Literally, Texans have it. I think it's because it used to be a country. It was its own country for 9 years, if you didn't know. I think people just took that and ran with it. And yeah, so Texas's pride is as big as the state itself. It might be a little bit subjective, but pizza isn't good here. Now, don't get me wrong, I love me some Domino's, I love me some Papa John's, but Texas pizza, I'm from Chicago, I used to live outside of New York. Those are 2 places that are known for their pizza, and I'm very, very picky about my pizza, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I do love Papa John's and that kind of thing, but pizza, people don't know how to do good pizza. I know that's subjective, but other than places that are known for it, like little like places that try to do Chicago or New York style pizza, it's never the same. Another thing I didn't know, number 7, is Texans call most soda Coke. Whether it's Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, 7-Up, Mr. Pibb, literally anything is Coke, which is weird. And you would order, like, you would say, can I have a Coke in a restaurant? And they'd be like, okay, what kind? And you'd be like, regular Coke. And they would bring you regular Coke, but you would have to clarify. Now, most people, I think, don't do this anymore, but they did definitely when I first moved here. And number 8, seasons just don't exist here. Maybe this is something to do with global warming, if it exists. I won't get into that. It does, by the way. Yeah, seasons just don't exist here. It's currently the first week in September, and it is still a bajillion degrees outside. And fall for us doesn't start until maybe Thanksgiving. Winter basically is most people's definition of fall. On the rare occasion, we do get a slight little sprinkling of snow, and summers are pretty much unbearable. My first summer here there was recorded 40 days in a row over 100. And I don't do heat well. I'm a very cold-blooded person. I get warm very, very easily. Anyone that knows me, like literally just a little bit, knows I hate the heat. If it's over 85, I don't want to go outside. I just don't. It rarely gets to be under about 60. And then when it is under 60, which is a rare thing, everybody thinks it's freezing. Kind of going along with that, going along with the weird weather that we have in Texas, most people, when it rains, when there's snow on the ground, when people just go crazy, it's insane. So if you want to look into any of this, I suggest Googling it. It is really fascinating. The Texan culture is a little weird, but I suggest doing some research if you're interested. If you guys want to see me do more videos like this, let me know. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Mwah!